Lucid Motors is not too far from going down. No, it is not official yet, but there are some signs that you can't ignore. Even Elon Musk, who is generally supportive of rival manufacturers' electric vehicles, is not hiding it this time. Elon has previously made fun of big brands such as Audi and GM, but also he has publicly praised EVs such as the Porsche Taycan and the Ford Mustang Mach-E. However, in recent remarks, Musk issued a harsh warning about a younger rival, Lucid Motors, and people tend to pay attention when Elon Musk talks about running an electric car company. Recently, electric car manufacturers have had difficulty increasing sales due to declining consumer expenditure, aka economic recession. Lucid Motors, a luxury EV manufacturer, was also affected by this trend. The company devised a measure to tackle this problem internally. Lucid is allegedly providing an $18,000 discount to its workers who purchase its 2022 model Grand Touring before the end of the year. The Lucid Air Grand Touring is priced at $154,000. The discount, valid for purchases made on or before December 31st, would be staggered in $500 increments and credited each pay period. According to the manufacturer, availability and customizations are restricted. Because of their higher price point, Lucid's Air sedan EVs are more vulnerable to the vicissitudes of the economic situation. The company cut its 2022 car production target by approximately 40% earlier this year. Reservations remained at 34,000 units in the third quarter, down from 37,000 units in August, according to third-quarter figures announced in early November. The reduction is anticipated to boost fourth-quarter sales, but long-term adoption remains doubtful. So, is this the end? Well, there was also the leak of internal emails revealing an aggressive effort to avoid cancellations for its Lucid Air electric cars. Any cancellation is a failure, according to an email issued to Lucid's retail workers, outlining a procedure for rescuing such failures. Customers may have been barred from receiving phone calls from employees for up to 2 weeks before the cancellations were completed. Lucid faced several significant hurdles. Due to supply chain and logistical challenges, the firm had to reduce its production objectives twice. In the third quarter of 2022, the business constructed 2,282 electric cars and delivered 1,393 to consumers. Two-thirds, which translates to 66% of the 3,687 vehicles manufactured, were delivered between January and September. The slogan for Lucid's Twitter feed is "Here for luxury. I'm here to perform. I'm here to stay." But Musk, as he is known, had his reservations, which he disclosed in his tweet. They are not long for this planet. Elon Musk made this dire prognosis for the electric car business amidst reports that Lucid is also giving consumers who bought the Air Grand Touring sedan at a 10% discount if they finish their order. You may be surprised that this isn't Musk's first remark on Lucid's future. Last year, it was claimed that Rivian's projected $5 billion facility is considering Fort Worth, Texas as a possible location. Musk replied to the announcement, saying Rivian should get its first facility in Normal, Illinois up and running and optimized. I'd advise them to get their first plant up and running. It's challenging to achieve mass manufacturing at a low unit cost, Musk stated. Musk expressed his misgivings about Lucid and Rivian in a podcast with Tesla enthusiasts. During his meeting with EV enthusiasts, Musk cautioned that Lucid and Rivian are both on the verge of bankruptcy unless they drastically slash expenses or ask more money from their investors. He also emphasized that survival in the car industry is easy, with just Tesla and Ford avoiding bankruptcy among American automakers. Unless anything dramatically changes with Lucid and Rivian, they will both go bankrupt. They're heading into insolvency. I hope they can do something, but unless they can dramatically reduce their costs, they are in deep trouble and may end up in the car cemetery like every other except Tesla and Ford, Musk said, later adding, "My advice to Rivian would be to dramatically reduce costs immediately across the board, or they are doomed." With widespread layoffs, the restoration of former President Donald Trump's account, and the repeal of his policy on COVID-19 disinformation, Musk's Twitter takeover has caused a seemingly never-ending debate. Because of the changes, several advertisers have reduced their Twitter spending or abandoned the microblogging site completely. Rivian is dealing with its issues with manufacturing ramp-ups and supply chain interruptions. The company, which includes Amazon as a stakeholder, recorded a net loss of $1.72 billion in the third quarter, compared to a loss of $1.23 billion in the same time in the previous year. Both automobile manufacturers have been dropped by billionaire investor George Soros. He has cut his Rivian holdings and put options on 400,000 Lucid shares, indicating that he expects the stock price to fall soon. Musk isn't alone in this. Others, such as analyst Chris McNally, claim Lucid has substantial vertical integration and a leading e-powertrain aimed at the ultra-premium EV category. McNally believes its inline assessment is with a small negative bias, since Lucid has a long way to go to increase its addressable market and achieve its finance requirements. On the other hand, Seth Leitman, an author and analyst in the electric car business, said that he did not believe Lucid was dead yet. However, if things don't improve in about a year, they'll require substantial assistance, he stated. That's partially because their inventory and delivery need to be enhanced. Newcomers to EVs have significant challenges. Duke professor Timothy Johnson of Duke University's Energy and Environmental Practice remarked that launching an automobile is challenging and hazardous. He claims that Tesla has encountered significant obstacles to getting to where it is now. A lot of cash is required to get started and to bridge the lengthy gap between launch and serial manufacturing, he said. I think the EV market is large enough to support another premium brand if Lucid's investors stay patient, if the firm can maintain its cash flow, and if it can handle the anticipated early manufacturing challenges. Of course, there are a lot of ifs, he said. Johnson's broader worry impacts not just Lucid but all electric car manufacturers, and is concerned with battery material supply and processing capacity. As light commercial vehicle and truck manufacturers strive to extend their electric capabilities as grid storage rises, supply chain bottlenecks are expected to impede production and drive up prices for the rest of this decade, he added. Established enterprises with supply arrangements will do better than startups that might be victims of supply shortages if the related delays become considerable, Johnson added. Building automobiles is a difficult task. They are costly, and the factories and equipment that manufacture them are considerably more so. Tesla is regarded as a juggernaut now, yet many people forget that scaling up Model 3 manufacturing almost pushed Tesla out of business. Lucid Group is only starting to ramp up manufacturing and is already in danger. In the third quarter last year, Lucid announced a 2022 manufacturing target of 20,000 cars. However, it has fallen short and has been slowly lowering the bar. In the fourth quarter of last year, the business decreased output estimates to 12,000 to 14,000 vehicles, and again in the second quarter of 2022 to 6,000 to 7,000 vehicles. Even meeting the upper end of the forecast falls 65% shy of Lucid's initial 2022 objective. Growing pains are natural, but they may negatively influence the organization. The automobile industry is rushing to get electric cars to market, and the longer Lucid waits, the more potential sales it loses. Lucid's reservations fell to 34,000 in quarter 3 from 37,000 3 months earlier. That's about a 10% drop in backlog, and investors should keep an eye on how many more reservations are lost if production continues to struggle to ramp up in 2023. The financial consequences of Lucid's low production levels are an even bigger problem. Running factories is expensive, so they lose money if they do not generate units. Lucid went public with a large sum of money, but it is swiftly depleting it. The cash burn in the third quarter was $859 million, increasing the total cash losses to $2.8 billion for the last 4 quarters. The corporation has $3.3 billion in cash and short-term investments, which is adequate to support the company for another year at the present rate. Lucid has announced intentions to raise an additional $1.5 billion via stock sales to Saudi Arabia's National Wealth Fund and the public markets to solve its financial situation. This increase is comparable to around 9% of Lucid's current market valuation implying that existing investors' shares will be diluted and worth less of the entire firm. The firm is a long way from turning a profit. As a result, investors must examine how much more money Lucid may need in the long run and how much dilution shareholders may experience. Is Lucid Motors going to be around after 5 years? What do you think?